Message received at 8:17 a.m. March 9 from 7066.
Hey, my new friend Pete. This is Ed Matthews calling. I live in the state of Georgia, and I'm a retired machinist. I've been working as a security guard for the last 8 years, and I just had a 68 Mustang GT restored, rotisserie and everything, you know, and I'm getting it back at the end of the month, finally, after 2 fucking years. But I was wondering why it took so long, so I started watching your show, and now I understand why it takes so long. It's a lot of motherfucking work you gotta do, man. And, but really what's fucking pissing me off, I sat through 27 motherfucking segments, and you stuck it in my ass because you quit making videos on that fucking 68 Mustang fastback of yours. And I wanted to see the rest of the show. So when are you going to do the rest of the fucking videos? Thank you. You're my mentor. Have a great fucking day. Bye.
End of message.
Welcome to D.I.Y. Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
Found out so far is that when you take a car to this extreme, it's very, very good idea to have some of the brand new body panels or original ones if you kept them to line shit up as you're putting it together. We found out that making the structure system that I made is a good idea, but to precisely line everything up like it's supposed to be so all the body lines match up and everything looks good, you still have to shimmy-shammy it around to get it where the fuck you want it. So what I'm going to do, if you remember, we went ahead and welded the firewall to the side panel, so we know the firewall is now set in place where we want it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and weld the top part of the inner aprons to the firewall, and what that will do is that will secure our system where we know this won't move at all. At least something went right on this car. At least something went right, and now the hood lines up with the cowl panel. That's very important when it comes to being precise and accurate. I am kind of anal on lining parts up because to me, when you look at a car and the body lines don't line up or this, that, or the other, I mean, it just looks like it's hokey pokey. It might just be me because this is what I do for a living, but I am very particular about body lines and gaps and all this other shit. So yeah, that was a big relief that we got that lined up. Let's go ahead and weld this area right in here, and we'll get this as best we can. One thing that I found out about these inner aprons is that it seems like it's a little bit short. It seems like the apron was made just a little bit short, and you can see where it's not really flush mount. So that's another particular situation of being an aftermarket item, but we'll go ahead and weld that on there the best way we can and get it welded. We will, to finish this bitch out. And if you haven't noticed by now, you see that my friend Pete talks a lot about these cocksucker fuck off piece of shit aftermarket parts because I got to deal with them all the time. I hope that you're learning something from this. I hope that you're taking my knowledge and using it to show that you are the smarter person of the group, because you are learning from my mistakes instead of learning from your own mistakes. Take this knowledge that my friend Pete throws at your face, not that you're paying for it, you're getting it for free, and use the fucking situation to find all your solutions. This is a story of not just building this car, but of life in general. It's about getting off your ass and struggling through the fucking trials and tribulations that it takes to accomplish something such as this big giant major fucking construction job we got going on here. It's all up to you to put your mind together to make yourself believe that you can do it. It's possible. If you have the right tools and the right set of mind, you can fucking do it. Let's get this welded on here. Like I said, aftermarket fucking shit. It's not lining up perfect, but it's lining fucking up. We got to compensate. We got to do what we got to do to get her done and do it right. Always have your hammers with you. Your hammers are a very important fucking situation on this. My hand's doing the talking now. When the hand talks, listen, because the hands are the one that's doing all the fucking work. We're going to take our hammer and right in this area here, I'm going to try to pound that down as close as I can get it. Because I want that to be a nice, tight fit. So you need to use your hammer as much as possible. Hammers are very important in this, along with your welder. And speaking of welding, I want to go over that with you in a few minutes. Let me get this welded on because I want to talk to you about the situation of what type of fucking welding we're doing here. Good trusty hammer once again. And another thing is when you're pounding this panel to this panel, try not to dent this up. We don't want to deform the brand new panels in any way, especially if you're trying to do an extreme job like I'm doing here. You want to be able to do the best quality work you can. And I'm going to show you a couple other tools to use on that to get the son of a bitch like it's supposed to fucking be as soon as I get a couple of these welds on. Alright, we got it all welded up and in place. This situation we got right in here where it goes in under the cowling and then comes around and then the firewall's right here. It's hard to get my hammer up in there, so what I'm going to do is I'm using a bigger hammer. This is a bigger hammer, and then I got me a nice long steel rod here that I'm going to use as a punch. Do you see what I'm talking about? And then I will take my hammer and my punch, and then I will hit that to get it in place to where I need it. Just like that. Because we've got to have this touching the firewall and in place. So tools around the house can be handy tools when working on a car. Remember that. Use your fucking brain to figure it out, and you will be the winner in the end. Alright, now that we have that welded up, we'll go ahead and take our drill and go ahead and remove the self-tapping screws out of the apron. And sometimes these self-tapping screws can be a bear to get out. So we got to use our fucking pliers, another handy tool that we can find around the house. Alright, now that we have welded that section up, what we're going to do is to strengthen it up even farther, because we are going to go ahead and seam seal this on both sides of this apron. I'm going to go ahead and put some stitch welds on the end, and then I'll put a couple welds on the inside of it as well, and that's going to strengthen it up to an even stronger situation than what we have already. Alright, what you got to understand when dealing with situations like this is that you are literally welding a structure together. So the more beefier that you can make those welds, the better off you're going to be, and more safe and secure and sound. You're going to sleep at night knowing that the customer is safe in his vehicle and the vehicle isn't going to fall apart. Because what we're working on here is a real, live, 100% authentic car. Now this is not just a car, this is a big block car. This is a muscle car, this is a hot rod car. We are literally welding the front structure of the vehicle to the car itself. That means that there's going to be a lot of weight on this fucking thing. There's going to be a lot of torque and a lot of muscle car fucking action going on. So it's very important to make sure that the welds that you put on this are beefed up very, very strongly. I'm not telling you to gorilla weld this motherfucker like King Kong, but I am telling you that it's important that you make it stronger or as strong as the factory welds were. What about the guy that's going to be driving this car? If you're working on something, and even if you're doing it for yourself, think of the safety of the person that's going to be inside this car going down the road 110 miles an hour because it's his brand new hot rod and he wants to check it out. Let me get the other side done. I'm going to do it the same way. When we come back, we're going to be working on our hinge pillar, A-pillar, whatever the fuck you want to call it. We got to get that bitch in place, and we're moving down the road now, getting her done, doing it right, and using the tools that it takes to make it all fucking happen. Take it easy. All right, now that we figured out where the fucking front end's supposed to go, we got our cowling panel all lined up and everything. What I've been doing in the meantime, after we lined all that up and figured out the jigsaw puzzle, is I went ahead and welded my core support to the front aprons. If you look real close, you can see that this is the front side. I went ahead and ground that down smooth so it'll have a nice finish on it when we're done. But actually, all the spot welds are actually put on behind right here. And if you look in there, you can see that that has been spot welded and stitch welded. And I am doing this for a reason. When I say stitch weld, I'm putting random stitches, as you can see right here, all right, to reinforce our structure to make sure that it's strong and sound. Then, of course, we've done the same thing on the firewall right here where the apron is mounted to the firewall. We went ahead and spot welded all of the spot welds need be. And then I went and added some stitch welds to reinforce the structure to make sure that it's solid and sound again. So now that all that's done, now we're getting into the technical welding of the fucking job here, because what we got to do is we just got to start welding upside down. Welding upside down is very, very tricky due to the fact that you got to find that right heat range and wire speed on your fucking MIG welder to weld upside down so all the slag doesn't fall down. You got to be able to concentrate and set your welder. Welding upside down takes a lot of fucking practice, and I'm telling you right now, if you don't know how to do it, you will possibly fuck up. Let's get up under the car. I got some spot welds right here. I think there's 3 or 4 on each side that ties our apron into our core support, and that is a necessity that these have to be welded down here. This is a necessity. This is a major structure strength area right in this area here that ties all this fucking shit together. So let's get up under there and get that bastard welded, and hopefully my friend Pete won't get hit in the face with any slag. So this is where it really takes a lot of practice on welding to get to know how to do this. I got 5 welds over here, and I got 5 over here. Once again, this is very, very important to make sure that it's welded properly. And welding underneath is a major structure type of fucking weld. Let's get it welded on, and then we'll see what happens. And if you notice, we're speaking of safety equipment now. If you notice, I am wearing my welding coat. All right, this is a welding coat, so the slag does not fall on me and burn me as I'm welding. I used to have a welding hat. You can see that I'm not wearing it because it's gone. It has grown legs and walked away on me and has fucking left. Probably with one of my fucking employees. What really sucks is when you're welding upside down is on your nozzle right here on your MIG welder is when that slag is falling down inside to the welding tip where your wire is being fed. So once again, this is a very tricky situation, but my friend Pete's gonna fucking do it and get her done. Now what I'm doing, I'm checking to make sure that the weld penetrated very, very good. And I see right here that and now once that's done, I can go ahead and put a stitch weld on each side of our core support holding our aprons together. Now we can go ahead and grind those while we're down here, clean them up, and I think our core support and our aprons are now tied together permanently. I think we're done welding on the bottom of the core support now. And it looks fucking great. All right, that was not a technical job, but it was a technical job. And when I say that, practice makes perfect. Welding upside down is a fucking tricky situation, but to clean it up and make it look more professional, we went ahead and used our grinders to clean up the welds to make them look more professional. Was it necessary to grind those welds and make them look professional? No, not really. Nobody's ever going to see those. You probably won't even notice if I wouldn't have even told you about it. But the situation is, it's pride. It's taking pride in what you do, and you knowing that it looked sloppy down there, and it didn't look perfect, and you going to sleep at night telling yourself, I did an ace one fucking job. We got our core support welded to the aprons. One more thing I'd like to go ahead and point out before I go is, a lot of you might be thinking, well, why didn't he weld those to the apron when he had the thing upside down or when he was putting it together? The situation is everything was screwed together. I did not want to weld anything together until I knew that the hoods, the cowpelling, and the fenders were all lined up properly. If you go back into the videos, it might be the last one that I posted before this one, you'll see where me and Minnie had to completely loosen the front aprons off and move the whole thing over 1/8 of an inch to line it up and get it measured out properly. Another thing is that to do a job like this, it requires that you have the hood and the fenders. You have got to have all the body parts to get all this shit lined up properly and perfect. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete, putting the fucking Rustang back together. I mean, can we even call it a Rustang anymore? Is it possible to even call this thing a rusted out Frankenstein Rustang fucking mobile? It's not looking too fucking good on that end, but what it is looking good at is that this is going to be a nice tight 100% very super clean restoration of the 1968 Mustang GT. I got to get this fucking doorpost on over here. This is where it's going to get precise. This is where it's going to get technical, because once that motherfucker's on, there's no turning back. We'll be back on the fucking doorpost of our 1968 Mustang fucking car that I'm not too fucking happy about and trying to get done to get the fucker out of here. We'll see you later.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know